Afternoon, everybody. I thought I'd come back and show you flourless bagels. So if you're gluten-free, this recipe is for you. So let me show you how to do this. It's super simple and it does have some unique ingredients, but you actually may be able to substitute. So let me show you those tips as well. First things first, I noticed in this recipe it needs almond meal. So let's go to our almond meal and let's look at how much we need. Because I don't buy any almond meal anymore, right? I save money by buying almonds and milling it down myself. So let's scroll down. Let's have a look. It says 150 grams of almond meal. So let's bring up our scales. Over on the top corner, bring up scales, and let's put in 150 grams of almonds to turn into almond meal. Now, this is going to make, let me get these in. Oops, this is going to make 8 bagels, okay? So if you need more, you may need to make a second batch, but this is going to be absolutely amazing. Now, you know it takes 10 seconds to make almond meal in your Thermomix. So 10 seconds on the timer, up to speed 10. And normally I would suggest at home just walk away, but I'm going to just stay here for 10 seconds. So hang tight for a second while we blitz this down to almond meal. I went and emptied the rest of my almonds out because I want to now put this aside so that I've got that in a second aside for later. So in that goes, how cool is that? Almond meal in 10 seconds. Such a cost saver with the Thermomix. Let's just grab the rest of that out. Now, I've never made this recipe before. I'd love to know in the chat, have you made this recipe before? Please let us know. By the way, if you had a second bowl, how cool would it be? You could just leave this almond in there for later and put your second bowl on and make the rest of the recipe with the second bowl. But anyway, we'll just keep on going. It'll be fine. Okay, so it says place 1 tablespoon of warm water, 1 teaspoon of monk fruit sweetener or sweetener of choice, and 2 teaspoons of dried yeast into the measuring cup and combine. That sounds like a recipe for disaster. I don't know if you guys have ever seen me put stuff in my measuring cup before. But I tend to have a tendency to make a mess and spill it afterwards, forgetting something's in there. So I'm just going to do it in a little bowl. So 1 tablespoon of lukewarm water, 1 teaspoon of monk fruit, which is a sweetener. Now, if you don't have monk fruit, that's okay. Use raw sugar. Use whatever granulated sugar. Use Rapadura, whatever you would normally use. I'm just going to put a little bit more because my teaspoon is super, super small, and 2 teaspoons of yeast. Just opened a new packet of yeast. Now, the yeast is going to love that monk fruit sweetener or your raw sugar, whatever you use there. It is going to absolutely love it. What does it say to do? Did I supposed to stir it? Oh, where am I going? It just says, yeah, and combine. So I'm just giving it a little stir in here. Let me see if I can show you what that looks like. You'll see it starting to do its job in there. All right, let's put that back here. We've done that. Let's try not to make a mess today. Set aside in a warm place to activate for 10 minutes. Yeah, we won't have 10 minutes today, but you can certainly do that if you want, or if you're in a hurry, then don't worry about the whole 10-minute thing. Okay, first things first, 250 grams of mozzarella cheese. This is important. It needs to be stretchy cheese. You could use grated, but grated doesn't necessarily have, it has other stuff on it, okay, to stop it sticking together, which isn't necessarily great for you. Let me just turn that a bit, sorry guys. So if you can do block cheese, do so. Okay, but I know, you know, life's not ideal all the time, so just go with whatever you can. So, just going to cut a little bit more off. There we go, spot on. All right, 65 grams of cream cheese. Now, this is not dairy-free today, just in case you're wondering. Not dairy-free, that's A-okay. All right, let's put this in now. Say hi if you're watching on today. I'd love to know, what are you having for dinner at your place? Earlier I did the guacamole and the dip. No, guacamole and the crackers. I've just got to close the door. The kids have come back in with hubby. And they are just about to come out the oven. So kids are looking forward to having them tomorrow. All right, on with the lid. Let's do this. So what we're doing now is it's got 5 seconds speed 5. So it's chopping that cheese down smaller. You can see this is changing texture. Now, you might have noticed at the beginning there that sound is stop, start, stop, start. That's just the Thermomix doing its job. Don't worry about that. It's not going to damage your Thermomix unless it doesn't go at all, okay? So, and then you want to stop it, move it around a bit, and then go again. scrape down the sides with a spatula. Let me just show you what's happened in there. You can see it's chopped down a fair chunk of it. You see there is one big chunk left, which is why they want us to scrape down the sides to get the big chunk in. I'm just going to push it down there. There's only one big chunk though. Let's see what it says now. Okay, 3 minutes, 90 degrees, speed 3. So what it's going to do now is it's going to melt this down. You're going to see it's going to come together into a big clumpy mess in a second in there. So just hang tight for 3 minutes and we'll see what this looks like. But what you want to be prepping are your next ingredients. You want to be prepping your eggs. You need 2 eggs for this recipe. You're going to need some xanthan gum. Now, if you're not gluten-free, you may not know what xanthan gum is. So it is a thickener. You can also use gar gum, which is also a gluten-free thickener as well. You'll need baking powder, 2 eggs, gar gum, salt. And that's it. And your yeast mix. How cool is that? So, plus those almonds we milled earlier. So that's going to be awesome. What you do need to know with this recipe though is that it's going to take probably about an hour to rise. So you do need to allow yourself plenty of time to make this for dinner. You don't want to be making it at 5 o'clock for a 6 o'clock dinner. Okay? Alright, let's have a look at what's going on in here. Just see if I can, sorry guys, get you some length. See if we can see. You can see it's starting to come together in there, melting down. And it's warming it up to 90 degrees and we're at 85, so we're getting up there. And you'll see it starts melting together. It's not over 90. If it goes over 90, it'll start burning. We don't want burning. But it won't go over 90 because we're on a guided recipe. Alright, so 3 minutes, 90 degrees, speed 3 for those of you who are cooking along later at home. Halfway there, so we just need to give this some time to melt. So thanks for Carissa for saying hi and telling us what's for dinner. Shepherd's pie and salad. That sounds absolutely yummy. So cool. Now it is melting in there. It's starting to get glossy on the side. I can see that melting happening right now. Alright, 1 minute to go. I really want to push stop, but I know I need to let it give it its time. So while it's doing that, I'd love, you guys are sharing in the chat what you're having for dinner. I'd love to know, what is your favourite thing to make in your Thermomix? So as you're looking along and watching replay and hashtagging replay later, dinner, because I'd love you to inspire each other with what you're making, and your favourite thing to make, your all-time favourite. This is one of the questions I ask at a demo when I get to go to people's homes or Zoom them, and I say, what's your favourite? Whether you've got a Thermomix or not, what is your favourite thing to make? If someone said, make me something tomorrow, what is it? I'd love to know. So do put that in the chat. If you've got a favourite, what would it be? Okay. I might share mine on Friday afternoon with you guys. Or is that too far away? Nah, Friday will do. So 16 seconds to go. My favourite thing, before I used to get unwell from sugar, was making caramels. I'm going to tell you now. I shouldn't tell you now. Okay, I'm holding tight. Beef stroganoff, Carissa. That sounds amazing. I nearly let my secret out of the bag before Friday. All right. Here we go. Let me show you what's happened in here. Check this out. It's now like a goopy, melted mess. Look at that. See it all sliding down like mozzarella cheese on a pizza. I'm just going to give it a scrape down. Oh my goodness, I don't do that very often, do I? Scrape it down, push it to the bottom, all the way around. Okay. Next up, 2 eggs. Where are my eggs? I've pre-cracked them, ready to go. And they go. By the way, I love these bamboo bowls from the mix shop. If you haven't got yourself a set of those, they are awesome. From things like ice cream for the kids to custard to creamed rice. We've been having a few bonfires at night time with the kids out the back. So they've been having like their little portion of pasta or their rice or their risotto, those sorts of things. By the way, creamed rice, amazing. Especially this time of year. Okay, 1.5 tablespoons of gluten-free flour. I don't have any spoons left. I'm going to have to use these ones. Look at this. Look what I finally found. I found these. The kids have been playing with them. I've washed them though. Never fear. I found these in the drawer under the bathroom sink. In the cupboard, sorry. Measuring spoons. I haven't used these since COVID. Since before COVID. But anyway, small wins. Oh, look. And if I don't have enough measuring spoons, wait for it, guys. This is what happens at my house. Does anyone else have these dramas? Look at this. How many measuring spoons would we like? 1. No, I didn't do this, okay? And here comes another one. We don't use spoons very often. You guys know I barely ever use them. Anyone want a tablespoon or a teaspoon? All right, 1.5 of gluten-free baking powder. The gluten-free is important. Not all baker's powders are actually gluten-free. Okay. Read labels if you're cooking for someone who's celiac or gluten-free. Okay, next, insert the measuring cup. And 15 seconds, speed 3. Let's combine it. It's still 60 degrees in there, so it's still quite warm. Okay, great question there. Were the almonds with or without the skin? They were actually with the skin. I never buy almonds that are without the skin, so that just became part of it. The only time I've ever noticed a difference about almonds is when I used to make something that was quite pale. I'm trying to think, was it a cake? I think I used to make a keto cake, or maybe it was just a gluten-free cake, like a spongy cake style thing. And if you left the skins on the almonds, it then became quite a brown cake because of those skins kind of putting the colour through. Whereas if you used your blanched almonds that have the skins removed, it was quite, like, it was white. It just looked really white, like a sponge cake would be white, when only coloured with the eggs. So that's the only time I've ever bothered even buying blanched almonds. I've always just used them with the skins on raw. So yeah, there you go. Hope that answers your question. Scrape down the sides with a spatula. Oh, it's looking interesting in here. It reminds me a bit like a cake batter or a pancake batter. Look at that. Bit of a swelly, bubbly mess. Okay, add the reserve yeast, which has gone quite thin now. Kind of sucks it all in. And then 1 teaspoon of xanthan gum. This is your thickener. This is the thing that if you miss out, it won't be right. You can't skip xanthan. Now, I do use gar gum instead. They work in the same way. Okay, so 1 teaspoon of this. Okay, next. And there is no substitute for those two. Okay, you can't go and try and put something else in it. It's the only thing that works. 150 grams of the almond meal. We milled that first. And there you go. You can actually see the little specks. If you look closely, you can kind of see it's speckly from those skins. Okay, next, some salt. Just looking for my salt. Here it is. 1/4 teaspoon of sea salt flakes. So just give it a bit of a pinch. And we're done. So we're going to combine these three. Let's put the lid on. It's the first time I've ever made this. I love that there's always new recipes. I know you guys have heard me say this before, but there's always new recipes to try. I love it. 10 seconds, speed 3. Off it goes. Make some space here. Just something to note with the xanthan gum as I'm putting things aside, it's very slippery, it's slimy, so I had to dip in and grab that teaspoon out of there, and it was covered in the powder. So as I'm touching things that are a little bit wet around here, like the cup before that was a bit sweaty on the outside, it's very slippery. So don't spill it on your floor because it will just make the biggest mess. Keep the measuring cup inserted. Let me just show you first. So it's come together in kind of a mushy ball, but now it's not combined well yet, but it's got 1 minute knead time. So let's give that a spin up. Let's just make some more space. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to let it rest for 5 minutes. Now, I don't know if I'm going to have the patience to do that. So just hang on and we'll see what the texture's like of this mix. If it's soft enough and not too sticky, I'll actually shape it straight away and show you. If not, I might do a little video for you guys later of how to shape it, how to make them if it's too tacky. But give me a second and we'll soon know. Won't know until this comes out. Now I'm going to show you what's happening inside. See it there, it's coming together. I'm running out of cord. Hang on, guys. You can see it's coming together in there nicely. And it's coming into a big dough ball. That's what that kneading function is doing. Oh, it's done. Time flies. Okay, transfer the dough to a bread mat and rest for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, continue with the recipe. Line a baking tray with baking paper and set aside. So knead dough into a ball until it's no longer sticky, approximately 30 seconds. Ooh, I'm not going to do that one. I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to leave this for those 5 minutes. So the idea being what's happening here and the process that's happening is it's actually cooling, and it's going to then solidify that cheese again. So at the moment it's warm still. This bowl is warm. It's probably, let's put it back in and see what it is. Nope. Oh, yep, 37 degrees. So it is still warm. And as it cools, it will actually thicken up. And it'll get more and more dough ball-like, which means it's more easy to handle. There is a tip with gluten-free doughs. Always use wet hands. If you don't use wet hands, the dough just sticks and you lose a whole lot to your hands. If your hands are wet, it just slides off. It's nearly slimy. I think it's because of that xanthan gum in it. So have a look at that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back onto knead. And I'm going to make it knead for me. So let's put it on to knead for another 30 seconds. And I reckon it's going to come together. I'll be really interested. I could be completely flopping it now. So just hang tight. Let's bring up the kneading function on my manual screens. And we'll just turn that back on. I'm going to go grab a tray. And I'll come back in a second. So just wait on a second. I won't be a moment. In my house at the moment. I did have just crackers on things. So I'm just going to use my pizza tray for the mixture for my things today. Alright. Let's have a look. You can see up here it's coming together nicely. It's coming off the side. It's losing its tackiness, which is what I thought it would do. And it's chilled a lot further. So let's just stop that and let's see if I can work with it. So it says knead dough into a ball till no longer sticky. Roll each piece into a disc approximately 6 centimeters. So let's grab some dough out. Let me grab a thermoserver. I need something to use for my fingers. Now work next to your sink, okay? When you're working next to your sink, you won't need some water in a thermoserver. I need water in a thermoserver because I need to use my wet hands. So just putting some water in that thermoserver. We need 8 dough balls out of this in a second. So just getting this out the way. There we go, because I can't see your comments. There we go. And also so that at the end I can press stop without having to touch anything, because my hands are going to potentially be doughy. There we go. Look, see, that's come together. There is still sticky bits around the outside. And now wet my hands. Oh, hang on. I need to show you guys. 2 seconds. Spin you around. Before I do that. I won't let me go any lower, guys. You'll just have to bear with me at that. I'll try and use this outer bit of the tray. So 6 centimeter ball is what they're saying. So here's my, now you can see how the wet, I told you it makes it slimy. That's what we want. Okay, 6 centimeter ball. And then, or disc, it says. Push your finger through the center of each disc and use your fingers to gently widen the hole while pressing and shaping the outer edges so it's smooth and even. So we're going round. Now keep the hands wet. All right, if you're ever trying to make gluten-free bread rolls or stuff, keep it wet. So smooth and even, round we go. Now this is your time to add your sesame seeds on the top if you want as well. Does it say that? Or am I dreaming it? Transfer the bagels to a prepared tin and cover with a silicone bread mat and baking paper. Allow it to rest in a warm space for 1 hour. Look at that. So there's the first one. That doesn't look too bad, does it? So grab another dough ball out. I'll do one more for you guys. Okay. So about a disc about 6 centimeters. Keep the hands wet. My one bit of advice, keep the hands wet. By the way, has anyone tried normal bagels? If you're not gluten-free, there is a couple of normal bagel recipes to choose from, and they are amazing. So I would highly suggest giving them a go if you've not given them a go. If you can do gluten, give them a go. They're beautiful. All right, there we go. Look at that. There's another one. And you can see, can you guys see how, I guess, slimy that looks from that? But trust me, it's the way to work with gluten-free stuff. Okay, I'm going to press stop. Have a fantastic afternoon and evening. Please get in touch if I can help you with anything regarding your Thermomix. If you'd like to get your hands on a TM6, I would love to help you get a TM6 on your bench. They're There is an amazing deal on at the moment for getting a Thermomix in your kitchen. So, and if you've got friends and family thinking about a Thermomix, please do refer them. I'd love to help them get started with get a Thermomix, get started with Thermomix, and more importantly, continue to get more out of their Thermomix, because 7.5 years owning a Thermomix, I have never made flourless bagels before. And I've only ever once made floured bagels before. So, you know, there's always so much more to learn and do when you've got a Thermomix on the bench, which is so exciting. All right, so I'm going to continue to shape my bagels, cover and prove them, and cook them. And, oh, by the way, they cook in a 200-degree oven. You're supposed to brush them with egg. I won't. I'll give them a spray with some olive oil instead. Sprinkle with your sesame seeds. Oh, you know what? No, don't. Don't even worry. Just put your sesame seeds on now and then spray them before they go in the oven. And bake for 13 to 16 minutes at 200 degrees until they're cooked through and allowed to completely cool before serving. How cool is that? All right, take care. I'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon for some more crackers and dip. Here are my little gluten-free flourless bagels made on mozzarella cheese. Can you believe it? Take care and let me know if I can help you. But otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow. Bye, guys.